Hello, everybody. I am Mrs. JP Bharati, Coordinator, ED Cell of Commerce Department, St. Anne's College for Women, Mehdipatnam, Hyderabad. I extend a warm welcome to all the participants for today's national level webinar on the topic Students Step Up to Startup. At the outset, I would like to appreciate the initiative and the support given by St. Anne's College for this national level webinar. My greetings to Dr. Sister P. Amruta, Principal of the College, Dr. Smita Astana, IQAC Coordinator, Mrs. T. Anuradha, HOD, Department of Commerce, Mrs. Davala Mahita, Dean, Student Affairs, and to all my colleagues, friends, and students across the nation. Today, we have Mr. Sudhakar Nanduri amongst us, a resource person. He has over 30 years of experience in teaching profession from humanities and holds various degrees from Indian universities and universities from abroad. Mr. Sudhakar is also an NLP practitioner, an advanced life coach, and holds an institute, Catalyst Guru, in Mumbai. Mr. Sudhakar Nanduri aligns employees towards common goals to get 100% performance. Mr. Sudhakar is a coach and trainer at MSMEs and also for various startup companies. With due regards to all the teaching fraternity present for today's webinar, I extend a small suggestion to all my dear students. All the students who are present for today's webinar, few little inputs for all of you. Be ready with a pen and a paper. Start listing out your own ideas which trigger in your minds during the seminar. These can be your real startup ideas. This can initiate you towards your passion into a profession. Now, all the participants, you can post the questions on the chat box and will be addressed during the question answer session. Now, I would request Mr. Sudhakar Nanduri to start the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhartiji. It was wonderful. Such a wonderful introduction I got.
Thank you, sir.
And, let me put it this way. Welcome all of you. About 60 people are in the room, and many more expected. And let me take a beginning like this. And let me introduce you to a little bit. And after even whatever Bharti has said, I am from Andhra Pradesh, born and brought up, but born in Andhra, but brought up completely in Maharashtra, Mumbai. So the way I speak, the way I think, there's a lot of influence of Mumbai. So when I keep speaking, there will be a lot of words which will come out, which is a typical Mumbai and a typical person I hail from. So without wasting much let me start with the presentation. Yeah, I'm just checking. I mean, I hope you could see the full screen and my voice is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So, as the topic says, step up to startup. It means a lot, and what I'm going to take you through the journey in the backdrop is like, we are talking about taking small steps into getting into a startup or a business as a concept. And the business could be a small venture, or it could be a big SME, or even an enterprise. So it really doesn't matter. But what matters here is what is the steps to even make a beginning. So when I say business or an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, a question pops up, in our mind. Can I become a successful entrepreneur? That the question comes to immediately to our mind before we actually get into becoming a businessman or becoming an entrepreneur. So the journey of this presentation is I want you to be with me in terms of the possibility of becoming an entrepreneur in whatever level you are thinking about. It doesn't matter. I'm going to give it to you in a very simple format, it in a very easy format. So when you apply these principles, when which I have learned it the hard way over the years, it might sound simple, but when you go and apply those, it could go take you to much more deeper level in terms of becoming a businessman or trying to get into a business environment or becoming an entrepreneur. So the first question which comes into our mind is say, okay, can I become a successful entrepreneur? The doubt always remains. Whichever way it is perfectly all right. Today, even after 30 years of business being in it, I still sometimes question myself, oh, am I in the right place? Like, am I doing the business? What if I had done something else and blah, blah, blah. All those things keep coming to my mind. So that's perfectly all right where you have not even begun your journey as an entrepreneur or a business person. So let that question be with you. Let it linger around your mind and let me take you through that journey. So the second question here is, how many think doing business is easy or difficult? Like, you can just ponder over this question. What has come to your mind immediately? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Is it easy? Is it difficult? So just let us put it in the chat box and say, okay, I feel it is easy or is it difficult? Whichever way, it is perfectly all right. Okay, great. So whenever we say we want to do business, the unless you come from a business community where your background, like you have your parents or somebody in your family or extended family are doing business, the first reaction is, oh my God. That is the reaction you get. You get a reaction where what are you trying to do? Do you really know what are you getting into? It's as if like somebody is trying to jump into a fire or something like that. That's the reaction you get when I say ki, business. Like, a lot of people have this immediate reaction to it, and which I think because of a lot of uncertainty and a lot of stories which we float around knowingly and unknowingly that okay, business means it's lot of headache and lot of risk and lot of things are not there. But let me tell you, with all those whatever conversations we have, that's the journey which I loved for the last 30 years, all the ups and downs. So let me take you through a small journey which I have gone through, which only gives you a glimpse that okay, I've been in business and I have seen a little ups and downs of that. So my journey as an entrepreneur is I started as a job as like anybody does, and I worked for about 2 to 3 years in advertising basically, and then something which a very restless feeling comes into me and says okay, let me do this on my own. And I used to work for a company called Saubhagya Advertising, a Marwadi company, a very typical business owned company and a very professional company. So within a year or two I learned, I was in what we call it in advertising is a client servicing person. So I used to literally roam around in all the departments and see how it works in a very close. Like I used to sit with the art department, the media department, and work with them in a very close quarters. So within a span of two years, I almost understood the strategies, the mechanism as to how an agency works. And something kept on popping inside me and saying, okay, let me do this on my own. And and there is a lot of thrill in that. And without knowing anything about business, without consulting anybody, and I just one day declared, at home, and that time I was almost married, and my wife was literally on a shock, giving me like, what is this guy trying to do? So here is the journey which I did. Then I started with absolutely no money.
So there's a network
Hello, yeah. So there is
here. Yeah.
absolutely, in terms of no money, no capital, no place. From there, the start begins to make it an office of your own in Mumbai with 20, 30 staff, with clients like all the big names in the IT industry, with the computer education. That is the journey which I have crossed. And in the process, you have come across so many clients which have come your way with the trustworthiness. You give the service you get, and then you also come across people who try to take you for a ride. It is all in the game. It is all we have. But the beginning of this starts from what we call is the passion. So I say that it starts with the passion, and this you must have definitely heard somewhere or the other. And you say, ki, do what you love and love what you do. This is the base of any business, because if you don't have this passion, now I've just explained you why you need that passion in a business environment. Not that you don't need it in other aspects of life. Here you need it because you are the engine, you are the energy engine from the front, taking the complete company to a different level. So passion is the energy, and energy is life, and energy is the only thing which will take you further. So if you don't have this passion, if it is just a kind of a passing phase, after a year or two, you will feel business is not for you, and entrepreneurship is not for you. You will just look at some of the steps you have taken, and then it would be like, oh no, I mean, there's a lot of difficulty here. I thought I will have a lot of free time. I thought I will earn a lot of money. Oh, I thought I will go on vacation. A lot of things of sacrifices are there, but when you get success, all those things rule out. So passion is the core area, core, the beginning point where for an entrepreneur is a must. So why do we take passion as our core? And I will just take you step by step. From passion, where do we go? Now, everybody says, "Ki, okay, what is your passion? What do you want to do in life?" These are the questions we generally ask our children also. Because what will you become when you grow up? What is happening to you? I mean, the minute the child starts answering questions, we ask him, "Bada hoke kya banega?" Like, so we expect some answers. We see the students a little bit of caliber and little bit of smartness, and say, okay, this guy looks like he's going to be this. As I was saying, just to for the new entrants also, we start with the passion, and passion is the only thing which drives us through. That is what I was talking about. And here I wanted to do a small exercise, which is a very light-hearted exercise, nothing very serious. So let's find out, like, what each one, like, are you passionate about? So I think let's be together, and I request you to be where you are, and there's nothing to write. All you need to do is just close your eyes, okay, and just listen to me and be with yourself. Okay, here I go. Let your mind wander back to your childhood. Remember what you used to have fun with. You were always allowed to daydream and do whatever you wanted to. What did you choose to do? Go back to your early time. What's coming to your mind? What sorts of things attracted you as a kid? What are the senses which attracted you? The smell, the things you saw, what you heard, the food you tasted, and the touch you had. Did you enjoy them all? What kind of sensory experiences do you remember? What did you love to do or daydream about, no matter how silly it is or unimportant it might seem? Did you have a secret aspiration and fantasies that you never told anyone about? Ask yourself a couple of questions. Did you feel like there is a part of you that still loves the things you loved as a child? What do you miss the most? Next, ask yourself what talents or abilities, these childhood dreams and the passions might point out to the present. What can you do today to reconnect with some of who you were as a kid? That's it. You can come back to the present. So, if you have done this in a hurriedly, you can do it again. But I'm sure some picture has come to your mind. You always wanted to do something when you were a child. There is a lot of uh, uh, the touch, smell, things which you wanted to develop, but that remained in your childhood, and that never got uh, it got into existence. And even today, uh, we just think, oh, wish I could do that. So that is the small thing which are cues for us to pick up and look into those again and see from now to backward what are the talents which we still are carrying with us. That could be a lot of help to us to take it further. These are some of, now this is just, I have given you some examples. When you talk about yourself, there are some words which come up, I'm this, I'm that, I'm extrovert, I'm friendly, I'm very social. So that is why business is for me, business is not for me. So there's a lot of words which are thrown around when people just generalize something. And my take to this is like whatever are those 14 words about yourself, it just doesn't matter. You can put into the combination of whatever you have, you can still do what your passion says you can do. Even if you're an introvert, you can do business. Even if you don't like to speak to people, you can still do your work. And like I do presentations to people, but I'm an introvert by heart. I don't generally go out there become like a ha-hoo person. I'm not that. I still have managed my business. I still do all my talkings. I'm a very friendly person. I'm a social person. So there are parameters in which you can cash around and take those things with you. So don't get bogged down to some of the words people use you. They label you, and just come out of that and say, okay, whoever you are, whatever you are, is perfectly all right. And I'm telling you, you can do good in life. I strongly recommend this book. Whoever is getting into the entrepreneurship to read this book. I have just listed down the 7 things what he has said. He's one of the international speaker. I'm sure you must have seen it on bookshelves many times, and it would be very unjustice for me to explain the concepts. But I just go through in the business context point of view, like So what he's saying is be proactive. See, this is how it is. It's a very it speaks for itself. If you don't foresee what is coming your way, it becomes difficult for you in life and for you in business. Begin with the end in mind. Yeah. So if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter where you're going. So you always keep the end in mind, where you want to go. Yeah, it is a journey. It is a journey, but you definitely need to keep the end in mind. So put the first things first. This is like priorities. In your day, you have 24 hours, and believe me, everybody has only 24 hours. I don't need to tell you that. If people say I don't have the time to do and take care of my passion, boss, it's your bad luck. You're just not prioritizing yourself. Put first things first. So you need to keep take away, rob, steal, whatever you want to call it, time with yourself for that little time to pick up that passion of yours. Unless you do that, you will remain where you are and time will just go away and your life will come to an end. Think win win. This is what we do nowadays. It is people don't go nowadays by saying it is all competitive, competitive, competitive. Collaborating is the in word. We agencies, like I've been in an advertising agency for 30 years. Earlier we used to say the other agency is a competitor. Nowadays we say no. If you are an agency, okay, what do you do and what do I do? What do you do that I don't do? So let's collaborate and do things like that. So it is a win-win situation we work on nowadays. It is doing together. Seek first to understand and then be understood. This is absolutely for the consumer. If you can't understand the consumer and you keep talking about your product, it will take you nowhere, right? Synergy. Synergy within, outside, within your company, within your people is a must, which you know. And synergy within your family, within your friends, if you be together, the strength is much higher. Okay. And the last but not the least, sharpen the saw. This is a great time to sharpen the saw. We are now stuck inside our homes due to this great, whatever this horrible thing happening to all of us. But then we should one way take advantage of this by sharpening the skills. We can look into the passion, look what the skills required for that, and then we can go about sharpening and learning those skills. During this last 4 months, I have, even after so many years of learning and things like that, I have enrolled for three webinar courses, which I have appointed a coach for myself, and I attend. I'm answerable to my coach once a week. I need to make my notes, and I tell my coach what have I done, what have I learned, and how am I executing it. So this is a great time, and the clients are all there. They are all happy in their own houses. So this is a great time for us to pick up things in whatever way we can. So this is a great book. You should read it. Now, since so far we have said that there is a passion. Now I have identified the passion. Now there are two things which we always ask ourselves. One, they say ki when the why becomes clear, the how becomes easy. Now, the why is about why do you want to do business? There could be n number of reasons. I'll give you a big list which I have just rattled out for you to start thinking. So, the first question is why do you really want to do business? And the second thing is how do you want to do business? Now, you see a red line there. Now, the biggest mistake people do when they get into entrepreneurship and businesses, they start with the how. They start saying, how do I do this business? What can I do with this business? ये कैसे करेंगे? How many clients do I require? What is the product I do? So all those questions they start doing, and they get into action without asking the simple question as to why do they want to do the business. Because depends on the why, rest of the things will follow for you. So some of the examples I have just rattled off so that you can think about what is your why. When I hear people saying, over the years, see, I want flexibility. Like, I want to work from home. I can't work for boss. These are some of the answers people give. Pursue your passion. I'm passionate about something. So that's what we are talking about. Like creating something from scratch. You love that. Meeting new people, creating job for yourself and others, earn more money, financial independence. You are an expert, so you want to do something. Fed up of a boss. That's one of the fantastic reasons I know a lot of people have gone into business. The power they want, the authority, the wealth. So these are some of the why people I have heard from people, but this need not be the answer. The answer is absolutely yours, and whatever it might be, that is perfectly all right. But it is very important for you to know the why. Without that, why I'm saying that is just for an example. Say you are doing an entrepreneurship because you just want to be flexible. Okay, that's the first thing which people generally want. Or so what happens is you are for down the line you might forget why you're doing that flexibility and why you're doing the business, and land up committing yourself so much into business that you don't become flexible anymore because of your commitment, because of your clients, because of your whatever business throws at you. And then suddenly it frustrates you and says, "Ki, what the hell am I doing? Am I flexible? But I thought business was something else. I can be flexible and I can do." Yeah. So becomes very imperative for you to keep that in mind as to why you are doing the business you are doing. And I tell you, the funniest part is that the fed up of the boss, and then you yourself get into that issues, like, problems. So fine. So we have identified that the why has come to our mind. We have a passion. We said, okay, why should we done? Why are we doing business? So let us see with the why, what are we trying to do? So we need to give people a solution in whichever area we are trying to do our work. We need to give solution to a particular problem. If there is no problem, and there is obviously there is going to be no solution, people are not going to look at it, right? So the problem and the solution is given by either a product or a service. So this is the very basic uh, business, whatever you are saying, but I have thrown it into a so simple that this is the base. Like, you look at anything, whatever commerce, whatever business, whatever entrepreneurship, whatever way you look at it, in whichever perspective you look at it, everything revolves with this. So if you look at this circle and say problem, solution, either I'm giving a product or a service, you need to be clear on this thing. And then what is the solution you're giving? Now, I have listed out some examples. For example, you have a passion of living in beautiful homes. So your solution could be in the area of interior designing. If you are good at exercising, eating healthy, you are very particular about it, you could become a physical trainer and nutritionist. Similarly, if you are good at writing, if you're good at reading literature, and so you would dabble around journalism, copywriting, script writing, and adventure is what it is. Then tour and travel. So these are some of the examples I'm giving you, so that your mind starts ticking. Right now, solution is the area. Like living in a beautiful home is the passion. I love my home. I like beautiful houses. I always keep my house beautiful. I like everything the latest. So if you have that passion for you, then interior designing is the area of solution you can look at. So so now when you look at the solution area, the business module will be how will you be different from others in that area? That is, how will you provide your solution in the interior designing area? So this is the slow and steady process you need to work out for yourself, where understand first that okay, this is my passion. This is the area of solution I can have. And if this is the area of solution, what is the business I can do where I can be different from others? So this is what you need to work on. Now, working something different means what? I mean, it's a very vague terminology, and people get uh, very bogged down with. I have given a very small example of, say, for example, we are looking at some games, and we are looking at mobiles and some games. So what is the parameters we are looking at? Games availability, game quality, voice, motion control, other applications. So these are some of the parameters in which we we can look at anything. Like I've just mentioned five. Say I'll make it more simpler. We are we are buying a mobile phone. Tomorrow we want to buy a mobile phone. So if we want to buy a mobile phone, what are the 4 to 5 parameters we look at? If we want how slim it is, what is the screen, what is the memory for that, and what is the SIM card, whether it is a dual or a single, and all sorts of 5, 6 parameters which every customer looks at. So if you pick up the top 4 to 5 brands and say, okay, in this parameter, who is giving the best parameter at what level? If I score from 0 to 5, that is what it is. So when you do such kind of a charting of just 1 to 5 parameters, it is just giving a score. Say for example, you're giving score of a slim phone. You give it 1 to 5. Say 2 is the number, so you put it at 2. It's a very simple exercise. And then when you see and you want to enter into a mobile market, say you are a mobile manufacturer, what is the parameter you want to give? And somewhere where others are not giving, that is the parameters you will go and differentiate yourself on a higher platform. So it is an exercise by itself. It is not very difficult the way chart. People who are not used to charts, they might say, "Oh my God, I mean, who's going to do this chart?" But it's a very simple exercise. On one side is you give the scores. On the bottom side, you choose 5 to 6 parameters on which any common man would choose to buy or would buy your product. That is what we would look at. Now, the examples of the modern, what has happened in the modern world, like earlier Tata's, Birla's, they took 15 years, 20 years to develop. Nowadays, you see companies coming up within a short span, 3 years, 5 years, they just establish themselves. This is the modern way of doing business now. Earlier, when you say business, people used to talk about surely there is money involved everywhere, even today there is money involved. But there used to be capital intensive, big projects, everything like that. But if you observe a couple of things here on this slide, what I'm telling you is, it is idea driven. We are completely idea driven. Imagine a company like Amazon, which is doesn't own any product. It is the online shopping. It doesn't own a single product. Everything is by others. IKEA, such an international brand, it puts local shopping. I'm sure Hyderabad has an IKEA. I've been there. Such a wonderful thing. The standardized way of getting furniture cheap reasonable. I wouldn't call it cheap. Reasonable furniture. Do it yourself. It is available in the local store. It is standardized across the world. Uber, we used to very struggle to go from one place to another place. Convenience. Ask this cab wala, ask that cab wala auto. He'll say, I know, I don't know, madam, nahi janeta hai. All that. Today you just call on demand and it has become convenient. Today you are not bothered that if you want to go to one place or another, the first thing you say, okay, Uber, I'll call Uber and get it done. Zoom car. Imagine not owning a car but still driving a car without a driver. Earlier, if we had to go somewhere, you don't own a car, a driver will tag along with you. Then you have to take care of that very driver who comes with you. Now you drive it yourself wherever you want to go, whichever way. The car is yours. Netflix. We used to get bored by the content which the TV used to give. Nowadays, Netflix has got tons of Zomato. Sit at home and order whatever you want. Netflix. Again, it just repeated, sorry. So these are some of the examples which are purely idea driven to start with. I'm not saying that these guys don't have to put in money, there is no business, everything is there. But these modules existed before. Like shopping existed before, furniture shop existed before, cars, I mean the taxis were existing before, TV was there before, everything was there before. But see the way they are selling, see the way they are putting themselves in the module. The module is completely different. So you are going into an area which nobody else has done it before. That gives you a differentiation. That gives you an edge over others. Even if tomorrow you open up a small store within your locality or within your place, if you have something very specific which others are not giving, it gives you an edge over others. It is not opening up a new category. Please don't get confused. The category is already there, but the way you are doing it is completely different. That is what is the example given here. This is a wonderful book which will give you the complete insight, what they call it as a blue ocean strategy. And this has given a very in-depth understanding of differentiation. It gives you tons of examples of how to differentiate yourself as an entrepreneur. And it's a lovely book. I mean, it's available everywhere. If you can just, if you want to take a snapshot or take a note of this, you can take a. Okay, so now we have reached three stages now. Passion we have started with. We said, why do we want to do business? Then we added differentiation. Now, do you feel, that is, can you come up with a business module with all three? I think yes. If you just apply your mind, I don't want to say, I don't want to undermine you. I've seen a lot of, I mean, women entrepreneurs, the full of your is women entrepreneurs and full of them. And I'm sure they can come up with brilliant ideas. And so this formula of it is not a formula, I've just structured it this way, but it will give you a lot of structured way of thinking. You start with the passion, you go to the why, you differentiate yourself and see where you find yourself. And then that would become your business module. That is where then you start going ahead rather than jumping to the how. Like, you know, if I told you in the 3 slides earlier, don't go to the how now. Don't bother about how you're going to do business. Just don't bother. Till the time you come up with a business module and say, okay, this is my business module, this is the differentiation, this is what I'm going to give different to my people, to my target audience, all my consumers, what we call them. Don't go to the how. If you go to the how, you will miss the first part and you will mess it up. We all have done it. I have done it. And a lot of my people have done it in my generation. Still people are doing it. They just come down to business and just say, let's get down and do work. That is not how things happen. All these big names, what I showed you one before, these are all the guys who have sat with the business modules first. The business module is what made them fantastic. Today they are within a span of 3 years, 5 years, they are big brand. Big brands is not, I mean, really tons and tons of money going there, right? Okay. Now, three more points where you can work on how to differentiate yourself. Okay. The pointer here is basically 3 points. One is see where the customer is not unmet customer needs. Wherever you look at, no, if that is not done properly, is it not addressed properly, you look at that area to differentiate yourself. Now, if I break it down, you can break it down into either the product or the price or the place or the promotion or the consumers. I'll just shortly tell you what it is. Say, for example, you look at the product. If you tweak the product, what will happen? If somebody is giving something which is already existing and you want to differentiate that, if you upgrade yourself or tweak the product, whether that will become a differentiator. Price is a very dicey formula. Price is the war which the whole world does, but you can still play around. The Reliance and Ambanis have played on this game. They have gone back down. Nobody can go below that, and they just wiped out the mobile market with the price structure. Place where people have not given that services. If you want to give it in that services, you go to the remote area where you can send your services to them. Like, so there are so many areas which are untapped. Promotion, what kind of promotion is it? Whether it is reachable. Nowadays online, you just dial something and it comes and reaches your house. So that is place now. How do you promote yourself? Is it something completely different the way you want to portray yourself? Okay, without the first three, the fourth one will fall flat. So don't do it only solo with promotion. That will be a bad idea, right? And consumers. Consumers also, if there is a fresh consumer which is not tapped, whether a consumer is tapped, say, for example, I am using a particular soap. If an X amount, if say a middle class family is buying that soap, how about selling the soap to a little one strata below or one strata above? Okay, so these are some of the strategies which you can look into. It might sound a little technical, but I'm just giving you a food for thought where you can go more deeper. Basically, you look at what is not met, unmet consumer needs. That is what you need to look at. Second point is identify the pain points. You know what is a pain point? You are a consumer. You have been a consumer, and you are a consumer always. Lot of times we walk into so many stores, so many places. We buy products, we buy services, and there is a pain point. Sometimes you feel, oh no, I mean these guys are so bad. I mean the product is so bad, so lousy. I mean they said this was this, but something else came up to my. You walk into a five-star hotel and you expect a lot of five-star treatment to you, and suddenly one of the front office misbehaves with you and says, okay, no sir, this is not our five-star practice, we cannot do it for you. They are not flexible at all. You try something not flexible with people, very standardized. When you go to a big corporates, you go to a big store and tell them, okay, why don't you give me this price or some that price? They will tell you the first, no sir, they ask for the policy, we don't give you that. So it is not about the price, it is about the service you get, it is the experience you get, the pain you take home as a consumer. So you look into those pain points. What is the pain point you felt as a consumer with a particular area of work, of business? So that is the second point. The third point is when you're looking in one industry, say I'm looking at interior designing, don't look at interior designing as a industry. Look at the other industry, what they are doing, what is the service they are providing, what kind of promos they are having, what kind of schemes they are running, what is the whole pricing they are not pricing, but the other games they are playing to market it. So when you look at the other industries and when you pick up one or two which are applicable in your industry, that would give you a differentiation point. So these are the simple three ways you can look at it. And just to recap, there is a I mean, it is not that I have completely gone into the whole business module and you can launch the product and all that. We go through these kind of steps.
Yes.
We make a business module, then the business plan, then the finance is involved, testing is involved, soft launch. But I have only kept our discussion to the first area today because of the time constraint and of course the depth in which one can go on a distance learning. The idea today is to just open up your mind and look at the possibilities which can happen with some simple way of looking at things. So I'm only touching upon the first. Finance is another area which people are definitely worried about. Oh, I mean, business needs a lot of money and things like that, which is not true. I mean, there are, I'm sure each one of you are exposed to a lot of things in today's world that the banks are very coming up with women entrepreneurs and there are a lot of startups which are helping good ideas. If you search for it, one of my very good business associate does this, Mr. Yogesh Ite. He's in Pune. He helps startups from right from beginning to end. Okay, he brings about his platform is to bring the startup and the funder together on one platform, and also he does all the kind of support you require to become an entrepreneur. So you can go there, check it out, and you can talk to him and whatever if anybody is interested in going further and things like that. So there are generally three areas where internal financing, which one does individually, our own. See, we spend, I come across a lot of one example I always tell about money is like when we do expensive programs, like, especially training and development. It's a very good example people give. A lot of people come up with saying, no, I don't want to do it now. No, I'll do it later. Why? Because I don't have funds now. I'll see something, I'll do something and I'll get back to you. So these are some of the standard template answers you get out of people who the intent is not there. The fire is not there in the belly. Like if you look at the kind of money you yourself are spending in your everyday life on some of the items, like for example, we talk of the luxury items we carry around. Even my son used to carry a small cash in his hand, wallet for about 1,000 2,000 rupees as a pocket money. His mobile costs about 30,000. Laptop costs about say a lakh of rupees. So if you don't attach the intent and the importance, today mobile has become a part of our life. I'm not, please don't misunderstand me by saying that, oh, this guy is against mobiles, and it is not that way. It is that we give that importance to the mobile. That's why we don't mind spending that 20, 30 grand on mobiles. So the same intent, the same fire, the same passion, if we have for doing something for ourselves in terms of entrepreneurship, doing so, it could be an easy financing. We can look around us. People will help us if you take the first couple of steps. When people see people don't in the beginning people don't take you seriously because they think it is a passing phase. When a 20-year-old when the student age, when people talk about doing business, they say okay, you are just a kid, I mean, don't bother about all this. But this is where the ideas start. This is where I strongly recommend you to go ahead and go through your ideas and go through deep into it, study it, you whatever skills is required, you go through it, and this is the best time. And you have a lot of time. You have a lot of time to experiment. You have a lot of time to try it out. And I'm telling you, once the adults or parents like us see the intent, see the seriousness of the child, we automatically say, oh, this guy looks very serious now. This girl looks very serious. I mean, let me support them. Till that time, till you don't show your intent, we feel we feel it is just a passing phase. So my humble request is, like, you look into this area. If you are really serious into it, you can definitely there. External sources, I've already told you that today, right from the banks to the Prime Minister is ready to fund all the women enterprises, and everybody, SMEs, they're all being given loans at no some cost, minimum cost, but no paperwork is required. So it has not become so difficult nowadays. Earlier it used to be like, okay, bring some tons of paper. I need this. I need guarantors. I need. Nowadays it is not there. You just walk into with an idea for a startup, and everything happens. I'm not sounding very simple. There is a process, but the thought process has to start, and this is a fantastic age to start on. And eternal is what I want you to think. Eternal wealth is what you create. You create wealth for yourself, for your family, for your society, and finally for the nation. If you are becoming an entrepreneur, it is not about you at all. The fun part of the entrepreneurship is I mean, at least about 10 families depend on your business module. Even if it is a small entrepreneur, even if you are employing 5 people, the 5 people, their families, their whole life revolves around your business module, which is a fantastic thing to do, and which is a very great thing to get a feel about, when you look at an entrepreneur. This is just a stat. SMEs are contributing 29% of the India's GDP. I mean, so you can imagine the force we are as a small entrepreneur, which is a great force we can be, and
Yes.
we can take it very very fast.
Sorry for
And
interrupting, Mr. Sudhakar. I think we can, I mean, you can proceed, but still we will ask, we'll keep for question answer session also,
yeah,
so that there
yes,
can
sure.
be certain
Yeah,
questions
this
with
is
you.
almost the end. I mean, I've
Yeah.
just you can look at the pictures. These are all
Yes.
young. These are all young, common men, common faces. You can see some of the best women entrepreneurs. I mean, it's a great feeling. You don't need to be something very extraordinary coming out of the galaxy or something like that. They have all have applied their mind, applied their simple principles of business, and they have done wonderful. And within us, at least the top, you can see they have achieved this in a very short span, in a very very short span. My favorite take is, you don't have to be born as Steve Jobs. Anyone can make a shift. So that's my take on this. The big idea I want to promote is, create an uncontested market that for yourself. That will give you a great platform to work on. And because if you enter a competitive market, unless it's going to be tough. Yeah. Uh, yeah, just a closing note. As I was introduced, I'm a coach and a trainer. So we have something called a startup and an SME 6-week program. We handhold youngsters and we take them. It is only a 6-week program, but we support them for 1 full year. And 1 full year, they can call us, they can call me anytime and ask me what to do or how to go about it. But the first 6 weeks is what we give them we go deep. We go deep into actually getting them done what I have already showed you on the, like, the passion, the why, and the how, and all those things. We make them do it. Part it's like actually getting it done for them. And then after 6 weeks, they are on their way to go on their way, and they are very open. We are very open and connected for at least a year, promised 1 year, that they can come back to us, call us up, call for like a call and get our support, get our advice, whatever it takes. And thank you so much. I mean, to the complete team of the Department of Commerce, ED Cell, the St. Anne's College of Women's Hyderabad, and a special thanks for Bharti ma'am. I mean, she has been motivating me rather to do this program, and thanks a lot. And I'm thankful to all of you who have taken up time to come here, and I'm sorry for a lot of people who couldn't get in because of the technological issues from my side. And if required, we can always join them again some other time. Thank you
Thank
so
you, sir.
much.
So
Yeah.
I would now request our head of the department,
Can I
Mrs.
stop sharing?
Anuradha, ma'am, to present the voting
Bharati,
plan.
I think we
Yes.
can give room for students to have a Q&A
Oh, yeah. So,
if they are
yeah, I
interested.
think sir, it can continue for some more time, right?
Yeah, sure. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
Yeah,
just
yes. Time
wait.
is not a constraint.
yeah.
We
So,
can call out for any queries. Maybe we can just give
yeah,
them few
yeah,
minutes. If they
I was
don't
only
respond, then
enjoying
we
if
can
time
wind
is,
up.
yeah, if time
Yeah,
is
we
short, that's
almost stuck
fine.
to the time
Yeah,
actually. We've
yeah.
just been exactly an hour, so maybe
Yeah.
few minutes can be
Yes, ma'am.
catered to that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fine.
Yes, ma'am. So, students, whoever is interested, and also I think some of them have already posted their questions. Uh, you can just answer those things, and
Yeah, any specific questions? Because I cannot, I'll have difficulty in
so,
reading.
so
Anything?
Nitisha Agarwal, she has asked if the questions are available on the Play Store. On the books which you have mentioned, are they
Uh-huh.
available on the Play Store? She was asking that
On the
question.
place, so Amazon is the best way you can where you can find those books.
Okay.
Amazon is the very easiest way to find those books. You can just Google those names. You will pop. It will pop up. These are
Oh,
very popular books. I mean, they are nothing very popular books. Any
so
more
any more
questions?
questions?
Because they're all. This is okay. I'm just trying to easy for someone and difficult for so many.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see the screen, sir. Okay, cannot see the screen, sir.
We'll wind up. Looks like people are leaving. I can
Yeah.
see a lot of them exiting.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I would like to
Yeah,
just
ma'am,
thank
propose a vote of
Sudhakar
thanks and
Garu.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you
let
so
me do
much. Yeah,
that.
thank
Yeah. Good afternoon, all. Shri Sudhakar Garu, JP Bharati, Dr. Kavita, my predecessor, is also here. That's what I realized after I logged in. My
So
dear
sweet.
students and my learned participants, the webinar students step up and startup was a great step forward. I'm sure it has ignited the fire, the spark, the why, the how, the new idea. I'm sure it's a small beginning from our end. In fact, we were looking for a mentoring opportunity from the corporate side. Sir, your name suggests Catalyst Guru. I think it is absolutely the right, word for your the way you have conducted the webinar. It had been absolutely simple, crisp, precise, igniting
thank
the
you so
fire and passion in them. I've
thank you so much.
absolutely liked through, enjoyed the whole session, and it was wonderful. Thanks for the immediate consent, even for making the flyer and even conducting it on time, sticking to the time. Absolutely, it was wonderful. So this is an absolute. I think it was a very relevant session during the times of the pandemic because young students they must have realized 3 months now, 4 months now, and things are not becoming better. They must have also started wondering what about their future, their careers. So probably a few of them would definitely come out with some new ideas. And whatever you have shared today must have definitely given the enough spark in them. And thank you
Sure.
so much, sir, for all those inputs. I'm looking forward for our tie-up so that we can continue this kind of now since this has become a new normal webinar. So when we're
Yes,
conducting
ma'am.
seminars, conferences, we don't need to be on offline. We can directly do anything online. It has become a new trend now. So I
Yes, yes.
think we
Anytime,
can
ma'am.
continue. Yes, yes, we can
Anytime, ma'am. It will
continue
be my
this
pleasure.
network again. Sir, I just saw that last slide of yours, a 6-week program.
Yes,
Is it that you train students to understand the not just the small requirements, that is to have uh, even to spark off their ideas, to even give them the necessary inputs to even think of
Ye-
a research, a design kind of, a design thinking kind of,
yes,
the
yes,
entire thing will be given to them, and then
yes,
you allow
yes,
them to slowly grow into it. Is that
yes,
what you do?
yes. They have to come up
Okay.
with at least an intent to do it. So because
Okay.
intent is what I cannot give them.
True,
Intent
true,
is
very
if they
true.
come up with an intent and say, okay, I want to do it, and then
Mm-hmm.
the ball rolls and say, okay, what do you want to do? And then we drill them down by asking them a lot of questions. We have uh, actually, if you go through my website, there are about 10 questions for business entrepreneurs free of cost, which they can just fill up and find out for themselves what is the problem in their companies. So I strongly believe asking the questions make people think, and that is what I believed in. For so anybody, even at the student level, if they have that incline saying that okay, I want to get into it, they will be definitely look. I will definitely pick up and give them whatever is required. Sure.
Oh, that's wonderful, sir. In fact, we were looking for something like that. This is exactly what I told Bharati before the start of this webinar when she has
Yes,
proposed it.
ma'am.
I said it is just not going to
Yes,
be a
ma'am.
1 hour session and then the end of it. It should be a
Yes.
continuous process. The whole idea
Yeah,
is
we'll
skill
keep it
development.
rolling,
And
ma'am.
yes,
Yes.
it has to be. So,
Yes, ma'am.
with that note, I would like to thank you profusely again, sir. That
Thank
was
you so much.
wonderful getting to know you. Hope we can get an opportunity to see you, physically in our college. Thank you
Oh
so
yes,
much.
I do. I do come to Hyderabad. My
Mm.
sister stays in Hyderabad, so I
Oh,
do
that's
come to Hyderabad.
wonderful. Oh,
So next time
wonderful.
when I come there, I'll definitely make it a point.
Yeah, you will have to be in touch
Wait.
with us. Now this is going to be a tie-up.
Yes.
No, no,
So
Yes,
surely.
that
ma'am. Now we won't leave Mr.
okay.
Sudhakar.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Okay.
we will see
Yes,
to
ma'am.
that some students at least flourish and get the advantage of whatever you can give them.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you.
Yes.
Right. We'll call
Thank
it
you
a day
so.
now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I
Thank you
think
so much, and
I
that's the.
think we can thank all the participants
Yeah,
and we'll finish off.
thanks
Yeah.
guys
Thank you, everybody.
and
Yeah.
participants. And there's a lot of people who couldn't come in. If you can address them
Yes.
and tell them next
Yes,
time we
sir.
can
And
maybe.
there are many students who are even asking few more questions as to how we have to start. They wanted small ideas of for their level. I think we
Okay.
can have one more session later on.
Yeah,
Probably we have to design something and then we can come out with an
definitely,
idea.
definitely. We
Yes.
can have a.
This
What I
time we
suggest
can
is
have a total interactive session with your
Yes,
ED cell
ma'am.
girls.
Yes,
We
yes,
can
ma'am.
keep
That's
it
what is
open
the
to
thought.
them so that they are confined to that
yes,
group. They
ma'am.
can open up. That becomes
And
Yes.
easier for them to talk.
yes, I
Yes.
suggest a smaller group. I suggest
Yes.
a smaller
Yeah.
group also. If
Yeah.
if
More
it around 20,
interested and passionate group is more
yeah,
important. Yeah.
yes. So if around 25 is a good group
Sure.
to make a question answer. Then we can talk to them. It could be an open session where everybody is allowed to talk, and we can keep it for
Yes.
a 1 hour, 1.5 hours, so that we can actually it will be as if we are sitting in a room and talk. Like that.
Yes, sir.
We can do that. We can definitely do that. I'll be more than happy to do.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Thank you, ma'am. So
Yeah.
I would now request our head of the department.
Good afternoon, all. Shri Sudhakar Garu, JP Bharati, Dr. Kavita, my predecessor, is also here. That's what I realized after I logged in. My dear
Sweet.
students and my learned participants, the webinar students step up and startup was a great step forward. I'm sure it has ignited the fire, the spark, the why, the how, the new idea, I'm sure it's a small beginning from our end. In fact, we were looking for a mentoring opportunity from the corporate side. Sir, your name suggests Catalyst Guru. I think it is absolutely the right, word for your the way you have conducted the webinar. It had been absolutely simple, crisp, precise, igniting
Thank
the
you, sir.
fire and passion in them.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely liked through, enjoyed the whole session, and it was wonderful. Thanks for the immediate consent, even for making the flyer and even conducting it on time, sticking to the time. Absolutely, it was wonderful. So this is an absolute. I think it was a very relevant session during the times of the pandemic, because young students they must have realized 3 months now, 4 months now, and things are not becoming better. They must have also started wondering what about their future, their careers. So probably a few of them would definitely come out with some new ideas. And whatever you have shared today must have definitely given the enough spark in them. And
Sure.
thank you so much, sir, for all those inputs. I'm looking forward for our tie-up so that we can continue this kind of now, since this has become a new normal webinar. So when we're
Yes,
conducting
ma'am.
seminars, conferences, we don't need to be on offline. We can directly do anything online. It has become a new trend now. So I
Yes, yes.
think we
Anytime,
can
ma'am.
continue. Yes, yes, we can
Anytime, ma'am. It will
continue
be my
this
pleasure.
network again. Sir, I just saw that last slide of yours, a 6-week program.
Yes.
Is it that you train students to understand the notches, the small requirements, that is to have uh, even to spark off their ideas, to even give them the necessary inputs to even think of
Ye-
a research, a design kind of, a design thinking kind of,
Yes.
the
Yes.
entire thing will be given to them, and then
Yes.
you allow
Yes.
them to slowly grow into it. Is that
Yes.
what you do?
Yes. They have to come up
Okay.
with at least an intent to do it. So because
Okay.
intent is what I cannot give them.
True,
Intent
true,
is
very
if they
true.
come up with an intent and say, okay, I want to do it, and then
Mm-hmm.
we the ball rolls and say, okay, what do you want to do, and then we drill them down by asking them a lot of questions. We have uh, actually, if you go through my website, there are about 10 questions for business entrepreneurs free of cost, which they can just fill up and find out for themselves what is the problem in their companies. So I strongly believe asking the questions make people think, and that is what I believed in. For so anybody, even at the student level, if they have that incline saying that okay, I want to get into it, they will be definitely look. I will definitely pick up and give them whatever is required. Sure.
Oh, that's wonderful, sir. In fact, we were looking for something like that. This is exactly what I told Bharati before the start of this webinar when she has
Yes,
proposed it.
ma'am.
I said it is just not going to
Yes,
be a
ma'am.
1 hour session and then the end of it. It should be a
Yes.
continuous process. The whole idea
Yeah,
is
we'll
skill
keep it
development.
rolling,
And
ma'am.
yes, it
Yes.
has to be. So,
Yes, ma'am.
with that note, I would like to thank you profusely again, sir. That
Thank
was
you so much.
wonderful getting to know you.
Thank you.
Hope we can get an opportunity to see you, physically in our college. Thank you
Oh
so
yes,
much.
I do. I do come to Hyderabad. My
Mm.
sister stays in Hyderabad, so I
Oh,
do
that's
come to Hyderabad.
wonderful. Oh,
So next time
wonderful.
when I come there, I'll definitely make it a point
Yeah,
to visit.
you will have to be in touch
We,
with us. Now this is going to be a tie-up.
yes,
No, no,
So
surely.
yes,
that
ma'am. Now we won't leave
okay.
Mr. Sudhakar.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Okay.
we will see
Yes,
to
ma'am.
that some students at least flourish and get the advantage of whatever you can give them.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And
Yes.
right, we'll call
Thank
it
you
a day
so.
now.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you,
so.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kavita, ma'am.